I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad 5 years ago, and I was still broke. Why? Because I missed what Robert Kiyosaki was really teaching us. The book sold over 40 million copies worldwide, but 99% of readers are implementing it all wrong. Today, I'm sharing the shocking truth that transformed my life from $45,000 in debt to my first million in assets. And no, it's not what you think. This isn't just another book summary. What I'm about to share changed everything for me, and it might just be the missing piece in your wealth journey too. Welcome back to the channel where we break down the real secrets of wealth creation. If you're new here, we analyze the habits of millionaires and extract actionable lessons you can implement today. When I first picked up Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I was drowning in student loans and credit card debt. I highlighted every page, made notes in the margins, and thought I understood Kiyosaki's message. But I was missing something crucial, something that wasn't explicitly written on those pages. Today, I'm sharing what I call the hidden curriculum of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the lessons between the lines that actually create millionaires. Let me take you back to 2018. I was working 60-hour weeks at a marketing agency. My salary was decent, $65,000 a year, but somehow, I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and was trying to follow the advice: build assets, reduce liabilities, stop trading time for money. I even started a side hustle designing websites on weekends. I was hustling, but I wasn't seeing results. Then one night, after a particularly exhausting 14-hour workday, I reread the book, and something clicked. I realized I'd been focusing on the tactics in the book, buying assets, avoiding liabilities, but completely missing the mindset shifts Kiyosaki was describing. I was still thinking like his poor dad, even while trying to implement his rich dad strategies. That night, I wrote down what I believe is the true essence of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the part most readers miss completely. Within 18 months of this realization, I had built a real estate portfolio worth $1.2 million and quit my job. Today, I want to share these hidden truths with you. The shocking truth number 1. It's not about financial literacy. The first shocking truth about Rich Dad, Poor Dad that most people miss. The book isn't primarily about financial literacy. Yes, Kiyosaki talks about assets versus liabilities, but that's just the surface level. The deeper message is about mental models. Kiyosaki isn't just teaching you accounting. He's rewiring your entire relationship with money. When Kiyosaki describes his two dads, he's showing us two completely different paradigms for viewing the world. His poor dad saw security in credentials and salary. His rich dad saw opportunity in problems and market gaps. Take Mark Cuban, who made his billions by understanding this principle. When asked about his success, Cuban said, "It's not about money or connections. It's the willingness to outwork and outlearn everyone." This embodies the rich dad mentality, seeing learning as an investment, not a credential. The question isn't, how do I buy more assets? It's, how do I see the world differently than 99% of people? Once you make this mental shift, finding assets becomes natural. The shocking truth number 2, the real definition of assets. The second shocking truth, Kiyosaki's definition of assets isn't what you think. Most readers focus on his simple definition. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out. But here's what people miss. Kiyosaki isn't just redefining accounting terms. He's challenging how we classify our entire lives. Everything, your time, relationships, habits, knowledge, everything falls into one of these two categories. When you understand this, your decisions change dramatically. Is scrolling social media an asset or liability? Is this friendship an asset or liability? Is this morning routine an asset or liability? Warren Buffett exemplifies this principle perfectly. When asked about his secret to success, he pointed to a stack of books and said, "Read 500 pages every day." That's how knowledge works. It builds up, like compound interest. Buffett sees knowledge as his primary asset, one that compounds over time. When you start classifying everything this way, your priorities automatically align with wealth creation. This wasn't just about my investment decisions. It transformed how I spent every minute of my day. The shocking truth number 3, the escape velocity principle. The third shocking truth I discovered in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what I call the escape velocity principle. This is perhaps the most overlooked aspect of the book. Kiyosaki describes how his poor dad was trapped in the rat race despite earning a good salary. What most readers miss is that escaping this cycle requires a critical mass of momentum. Like a rocket needs escape velocity to break free from Earth's gravity. Small changes in your financial habits won't create wealth. You need concentrated effort in a specific direction until you break free from financial gravity. Look at Elon Musk's early days at Tesla and SpaceX. Around 2008, both companies were nearly bankrupt. Musk invested his last $40 million and worked 100-hour weeks until he achieved escape velocity. Today, he's one of the world's richest people because he understood this principle. What this meant for me was focusing all my resources on one strategy. In my case, acquiring small multi-family properties rather than diversifying too early. Within 18 months, I had enough passive income to quit my job. I had achieved financial escape velocity. The shocking truth number 4, the courage equation. The final shocking truth from Rich Dad Poor Dad, what I call the courage equation. Kiyosaki repeatedly mentions fear throughout the book, but most readers miss how central this concept is to wealth creation. The equation is simple. Financial growth is directly proportional to your ability to act despite fear. Most people focus on knowledge, strategy, or connections, but courage is the multiplier that determines results. Sarah Blakely, the billionaire founder of Spanx, embodies this principle. With no fashion experience and $5,000 in savings, she launched a revolutionary product. Her secret? She says, "My father used to ask me what I had failed at every week. If I hadn't failed at anything, he would be disappointed." This mindset built her courage muscle. What I learned was that reading Rich Dad Poor Dad wasn't enough. Agreeing with it wasn't enough. I had to act despite my fears. I had to make offers on properties when I was terrified of rejection. I had to negotiate with sellers when I felt underqualified. I had to raise capital when I feared embarrassment. The size of your wealth will be determined by the size of your courage. This is the hidden principle that separates readers who implement from readers who simply highlight pages. Bringing it all together. When you combine these 4 shocking truths, mental models over financial literacy, reclassifying your entire life as assets or liabilities, the escape velocity principle, and the courage equation, you unlock the true power of Rich Dad Poor Dad. This isn't just theory. These principles have created thousands of millionaires, including myself, but they require a fundamental rewiring of how you think. The actionable steps are simple. First, audit your mental models. How do you fundamentally view money? Is it scarce or abundant? Is wealth ethical or unethical? Write down your unconscious beliefs. Second, classify everything in your life as an asset or liability based on whether it moves you toward financial freedom or away from it. Third, identify your financial escape velocity number, the amount of passive income you need to break free, and focus all efforts toward that single goal. Fourth, commit to one courageous financial action every day, no matter how small. Make an offer, ask for a raise, reach out to a potential investor. These steps sound simple, but they require something most people aren't willing to give: consistent, courageous action in the face of uncertainty. Robert Kiyosaki gave us the blueprint, but the shocking truth is that the most valuable lessons in Rich Dad Poor Dad aren't explicitly spelled out. They're found in the mindset shifts between the lines. I'd love to hear which of these shocking truths resonated most with you. Comment below and share your biggest insight. In our next video, I'll reveal how I applied these principles to build my first real estate portfolio with almost no money down. I'll share the exact script I used to find motivated sellers and the numbers behind my first 5 deals. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Remember, knowledge without action is just entertainment. Get out there and build your wealth. I believe in you. See you in the next one.